Hello and welcome back to another UCL fantasy video. Today I don't think this is going to be too popular, but we are taking a look at the Limitless chip for Matchday 6. Now the reason I'm saying that is because I know a lot of people, including myself, are using the wildcard this week, and if you do have a Limitless chip at this point, you probably are saving it for Matchday 8. But if you do have it, this video is obviously for you if you are using it this week, and it could also be pretty, interesting for anyone looking to make any transfers or anything, just to have an idea of who the best players are specifically for this match day. So let's take a look at the fixtures. Now before we get into it, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe. Make sure you turn on notifications on as well, because I will have a team selection video out later today which you do not want to miss. I've also got my wildcard active for the next 3 match days, so you don't want to miss out on that one. Now looking at the fixtures for this week, in terms of Limitless, using the budget as much as possible for the best fixtures, it really isn't. We don't really have a lot of expensive players. For a lot of our big teams do have pretty difficult fixtures, as they did in Matchday 5. They do again in Matchday 6. Barca and Dortmund are playing against each other. Atalanta and Real Madrid are playing against each other. Man City and Juventus are playing each other. So what it could be is, if you do have a lot of players from these teams, maybe it's just a one-off week, and you are looking to get all those players back for Matchday 7, and you're just looking for a one-off to target all the fixtures for Matchday 6. And there is good fixtures, so don't get me wrong on that. They just aren't really for expensive teams. You are going to be looking at a lot of cheap players for a Limitless this week. The main one we're looking at is going to be Atletico Madrid, however potentially AC Milan as well, but Atletico Madrid is going to be your main one. You are going to want 3 players from Atletico if you are on a Limitless, because not really many people are going to have too many. Atletico could easily go out and take a couple off Bratislava. I believe they are out of the competition now officially. Maybe they just need to, if they don't win this game against Atletico, they are officially out, but they aren't going to have anything to play for. So it could be a nice one for Atletico to pick up a lot of goals, and they do tend to spread out their goals as well, so this is why I do think it is going to be beneficial having 3 of those guys. For Milan, again similar with another home fixture. Again, you can see on the screen a lot of our easy fixtures this week. A lot of the poorer teams on 0 and 1 or 2 points are playing away from home, so we do want to be targeting this as much as possible. Milan have Red Star at home. Pulisic is injured and I believe ruled out for this week though, which isn't very ideal, but the likes of Rafael Leao, Reinders, Theo Hernandez, Maignan and goals, they're all still nice options for Milan. For Stuttgart, again not really too many options available, but they are playing against young boys at home. The likes of Mittelstadt could be a nice option. Feyenoord, Jimenez is a really good pick if you want a differential this week. Jimenez for Feyenoord has just came back, playing against Sparta Prague at home, and I really don't think he's going to be owned too much at all, and on a Limitless it could be a great opportunity to do something with him. Same with Jonathan David for Lille. A great opportunity for him to do well against Sturm Graz. Really don't think he's going to be owned too much. Then for our green fixtures, it's only Zagreb and Celtic who are playing against each other. They're also something to consider as well. So I've kind of touched on it already, but these are your key players from those 7 teams that we just took a look at. So Griezmann, Alvarez, I think going for these 2 could be a really good chance at gaining some rank, because there is a good opportunity for them both to do really well. They do often, as I said, spread their goals out as well, so I don't think one of them is going to get like a hat trick. I think there's a good chance of them spreading goals between them, getting assists in there as well. So a big difference, I think a lot of people are going to have at least one of them, so if you're on a Limitless and you want to be gaining over other people, I think you probably want to go for the both of them, because there isn't too many good striker options this week as well, so 2 of them could be nice. And then I've got Oblak in goals. We'll look at the clean sheet odds in a little minute, but Atletico are at the top of the clean sheet odds table, so Oblak could be a nice option for that clean sheet. For Stuttgart, obviously mentioned Mittelstadt already. Nubel in goals as well, playing against young boys, also a decent pick. Jimenez I've already spoke about. Timber and Hanko, again 2 very cheap options, which isn't ideal on a Limitless, but they are still available if you want to go for Feyenoord. We've got Alexandro as well. We'll look at the ball recoveries in just a sec. He is right up there for them. And obviously Jonathan David, another striker option who could be a really nice pick. For Milan, Hernandez, Reinders, Leao, already took a look at them. For Zagreb, there's not really too many options available. I think Rostovski, I think he's 4.2, he could be 4.3 million as a defender. He has picked up a couple of points. I believe he's got man of the match as well in matchday 2 or 3. Not really a great pick, to be honest, but he is probably the best one if you did want a Zagreb player. And then for Celtic, we have Kuhn and Schmeichel. So for ball recoveries, again, it is basically filled with a lot of cheap players. You aren't going to find too many expensive players on here, the most being number 10, which is Darun at 5.5 million. So again, not perfectly ideal for a limitless chip, but there is still a lot of players who could do well here. You know, Alexandro I just mentioned in the key players list. Kim also a really nice pick if you wanted a Bayern player. They're both on 42 and 40 recoveries, and you're considering, you know, 5 games already played so far. These guys are on 40 plus recoveries, so you're talking an average of 8 per game. Then when you look at number 1, which is William Pacho, he's at 51 ball recoveries in 5 matches, so he's averaging over 10 per match, which is an extra 3 points. They're playing against Salzburg away from home this week, PSG, so he could be a really nice pick. Again, could also go for like a Hakimi as well. You know, you're on a limit list, the budget doesn't really matter too much, so it's up to you. Do you want to go for ball recoveries or attacking threat in Hakimi? Obviously Hakimi has a much higher ceiling. You aren't really going to achieve, you know, that double digit pointer with Pacho unless he does score, which is, you know, very unlikely. But if you want consistent points, these are the guys you want to be looking at. It's always good to get a couple of players that get ball recoveries in there. That way, if you do still have a bad week, you are still getting, you know, 5-6 points from a couple of your players, and that way it is a little bit more stable. So for clean sheet odds this week, have slightly touched on it with Atletico being at the top of the table. They're at 64% with chances to keep a clean sheet against Slovan Bratislava this week. So definitely want to be getting at least one Atletico defender. I like to switch it about, you know, with the Atletico team. It's kind of difficult when picking a fantasy asset from there. Obviously they are playing against Bratislava. I think they will score a lot of goals, but obviously they're still top for clean sheets. So if you wanted to go for 3 Atletico attackers, obviously that makes total sense, but I definitely think it's worth it going for at least one defender. Whether that's going to be Llorente, hopefully we'd get some news on that, but he's probably your best defensive option. He is rotation prone with Molina, though, unfortunately, at right wing back. So that's why I went for Oblak in the key players list, because you know he is going to play. The budget doesn't matter, so as a 6 million goalkeeper, there's nothing really to worry about, and with the highest chance of a clean sheet this week, I definitely would be getting at least one Atletico defender in there. For Bayern, just touched on Kim as a ball recoveries player, high chance of a clean sheet as well. Obviously picked up a goal too in matchday 5, so a really good pick for him. Milan, you're looking at Theo Hernandez, potentially Maignan as a goalkeeper. Could also look at the likes of Tomori, but he's not really as good as Theo Hernandez is, so Theo Hernandez would be my defensive pick for Milan, potentially Maignan as a goalkeeper. For Arsenal, you've got a range of options. You know, Gabriel, I don't know if he's going to be fit. You've got Raya as a decent goalkeeper pick. Timber, only 4.4 million. You know, potentially getting forward and getting some assists and goals. Saliba, obviously a big set piece threat as well. So you've got lots of picks in the Arsenal defence. For Lille, not really too many available options. The likes of Alexandro, he was third for ball recovery, or second for ball recoveries so far this season. It could be your pick there. There's everyone else sitting at yellows and oranges. So, if, you know, just make sure before you're putting a defender in, you're taking a look at their clean sheet odds. For goal odds, it is slightly similar. We do have Atletico and Bayern both at the top once again. 64% again for Atletico, 56% for Bayern. We do also have Stuttgart sneaking in there with a 52% chance of scoring over 2.5 goals. So a lot, you know, I mentioned it already, it's a bit difficult when picking, you know, Stuttgart attackers. Milo is a really nice option, but I mentioned this already in my wildcard video that I don't know if I'd want to be picking Milo in a team with 5 midfielders, because there is so many good midfielders that you can get. Also on a limitless as well, it makes it even harder. So I really like Mittelstadt as a pick. He is listed as a defender though, so in terms of getting a lot of goals, it's not really going to be too viable. So you could always pick out someone, you know, out of the blue if you wanted a Stuttgart player, but I don't really think there's any obvious choices. For Milan, obviously disappointing with Pulisic out, but you've still got Rafael Leao, you've still got either Morata or Abraham, whichever one is going to start. You've also got, who else is it? Reinders at 5.6 mil or 5.8 million, a nice midfielder too, who does get involved with the goals and has done so far this season. PSG, Barcola is going to be your best pick there in midfield, another nice midfield choice. Wouldn't really touch too many other players in attack for PSG. Really like the likes of Hakimi though, as well as a defender, because we know he can get forward, get assists and get goals as well. So this is the draft that I did pick out if I was to be using the Limitless chip this week, and it is, very red, what we will say, but we've got a lot of Liverpool, we've got a lot of Bayern, we've got a lot of Arsenal, just, a lot of the quality players, because they don't have green fixtures, but they do still have decent fixtures. So you'll notice a couple of players in from our target fixtures list, the likes of Jonathan David, the likes of Griezmann, potentially Alvarez in there if you wanted to go for him. But I've doubled up on Atletico Madrid rather than the triple up, because I wanted David in there. It was really between David and Alvarez. That's feels like a 50-50 this week. I've got Griezmann over Alvarez for the penalties, Oblak of course in goals. If we were to get team news, would potentially stick in Marcus Llorente, I think it is Marcus Llorente, in defence, because he has picked up a couple of goals, couple of assists this season from wing back. Obviously Jonathan David in there, already mentioned him. For Bayern, we've done the triple up of Kim, Musiala and Kane. I think that is by far the best triple up you can get for Bayern. I wouldn't really look anywhere else. I don't think anyone else really competes. For Arsenal, I've went for Saka and Saliba. I went for Saliba because he's more minutes guaranteed than like a Timber is. Gabriel, obviously we don't know if he is going to be fit, so Saliba makes the most sense. Saka on red hot form, they're now easily the best Arsenal attacker. The same with Salah for Liverpool, the exact same reasoning as Saka, red hot form, with a decent fixture against Girona away, and of course their game against Everton was postponed at the weekend, so we do have a nice full rest for Salah as well. The same with Van Dijk. A bit of a 50-50 between him and Trent Alexander-Arnold. I went for Van Dijk for now, just because I do slightly prefer him. For PSG, we've obviously threw in Hakimi and Barcola, two players we've mentioned throughout the video. For Milan, similar with that, we've got Theo Hernandez and Reinders. Just players who have attacking threat, especially in defence. Players who have attacking threat is always something that is going to be beneficial. For the goalkeepers, I've obviously spoke about Oblak, but I've also threw in Kelleher. The issue with the goalkeepers is most of the teams with the highest clean sheet odds do play on the first day. I wanted to throw in another Liverpool defender. They've been very solid defensively so far, so we've got the double up with Kelleher and Van Dijk. So for that second day, it's really whoever you want. If you want to go for saves, fair enough. If you want to go for clean sheets, fair enough. But I think like the top six players, or the top six teams with clean sheet odds, are all playing on the first day, excluding Bayern, but I've already got the triple up for Bayern, so that doesn't really make sense. And then for the dates, not really as Tuesday dominant as I would like to be. We do have Kane, Salah, Barcola, Musiala, Van Dijk, Kim, Hakimi and Kelleher all playing in the first day. Sorry, I meant the second day when I was talking about the goalkeepers. I've just realised that. So we've got 8 players playing on Tuesday, and then 7 playing on Wednesday. Would prefer to have a couple more Tuesday players. That is just the way that UCL fantasy works, but this is what I believe is the best team. We want Atletico players against Bratislava. They play on the Wednesday. We want Milan players against Red Star. They play on the Wednesday. So it's just a little bit difficult when so many good players are playing on the second day. But that's the team that I've put together. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments. Again, as I mentioned, make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. My team selection video will be out later on today, where I've activated my wildcard. So make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you know exactly when that comes out. So once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.